indication of the close bilateral relations that we have. And now, of course, when Finland joined NATO, it also exemplifies the close alliance that we have. Our friendship is so close that I'm not even upset by the fact that Lithuania beat us in basketball yesterday by 3 points. But alas, these things happen and the tournament goes on for both states. I was detecting a lot of emotion with you, Gitanas, during the match. Every time Lithuania scored 2-pointer or 3-pointer, you almost got out of your seat. I was trying to contain myself.
This is my problem, and this is my temper.
It is, but it was a lot of fun, and it was actually a good game, and it's the first game I ever saw on the floor. Now, today, on the more serious stuff, we spoke about not only our bilateral relations, but also Russia's war of aggression in Ukraine. And as you know, together with our Nordic and Baltic friends, we are among Ukraine's staunchest supporters. We have obviously a security interest in doing that, but I think we also have an emotional attachment due to our history. We will be meeting in the format of NB8 tomorrow in Copenhagen, hosted by the Prime Minister of Denmark, together with President Zelensky. And I will be flying from there to Paris, where there'll be a meeting by video and partially physical with Volodymyr Zelensky, chaired by the President of France on the coalition of the willing. When you look at the Nordic and Baltics, last year we provided over 26 billion euros in military, financial and humanitarian support, and almost the same amount has been pledged this year. And I think it was you, Gitanas, who said that if we look at the number 1 and 2 contributors to Ukraine over the war, number 1 has been Germany, and number 2 is actually NB8 combined. And there is a reason for that, and I would especially like to thank Lithuania for its input. It's of course now time for the rest of Europe and all of us to keep on stepping up. The security and defense of Ukraine cannot be separated from the security and defense of Europe. And this is something that I want to remind everyone of. This is not a zero-sum game between Finnish and or Lithuanian security versus Ukrainian security. This goes hand in hand. Ukraine decides the future of European security, and we want to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. We also discussed bilateral relations and especially cooperation on the defense industry, which the President will be dealing with the Prime Minister and Defense Minister later on today. And of course, our shared assessment is that the security situation in Europe will remain challenging and unpredictable for a long term. In these turbulent times, it's important that you have close allies like Lithuania and Finland. We need a credible collective defense for the eastern flank of Europe. It's been lovely to have you here so far, and I really look forward to our working lunch as well. So warmly welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Is it morning or it's already afternoon?
Yes.
It was a great pleasure to meet my good friend Alex Stubb, and yesterday we had a great warm-up meeting in Tampere at the Eurobasket game between Lithuania and Finland. Yes, the victory was great, but we had to pay a very high price for this victory because one of our key players was injured, and as far as I know, newest information, he will be lost for about 6 months. But going back to the issues of our bilateral relations, of course, we have very productive discussion on bilateral and transatlantic relations, defense, security, Ukraine, and European Union agenda too. I'm pleased to note that Finland is Lithuania's close neighbor, partner, reliable partner also in European Union field and a fellow member of the Nordic-Baltic family. We are also working closely together as a NATO allies. And the NATO summit in Vilnius, where Finland was welcomed as a new member of the alliance, marked a significant step forward for the security of the Baltic Sea region. Recognizing that Finland is Lithuania's very important economic partner, I arrived here with a large group of Lithuanian business and science representatives. Later today, I will open the Lithuanian-Finnish Business Forum, aimed at deepening our economic ties and strengthening contacts in the fields of defense and science. For us, Finland is a prime example of a highly resilient country that has learned important historical lessons. Over the years, Finland invested heavily in defense and security, relying both on the principle of total defense and on technological innovation. Lithuania seeks to learn from Finland's experience and to strengthen our cooperation in military production and procurement. Starting next year, we will spend more than 5% of our GDP on defense. Finland, as one of our closest allies, could play an important role in providing military equipment, such as patrol vessels, naval mines, and possibly armored personal carriers. Our companies could also cooperate in producing medium-caliber ammunition in Lithuania. Our joint concern today is securing the eastern flank of NATO and creating conditions for lasting peace across the whole region. Lithuania's position in that peace requires strong long-term security guarantees for Ukraine. Pressure on Russia must also continue. That is why Lithuania has put forward a proposal for a 19 sanctions package targeting Rosatom, Russia's oil and gas revenues, and its shadow fleet, of course. We are also working towards setting a clear target date of 2030 for Ukraine's membership in the European Union. Finland's support on these issues would be most welcome. Lithuania welcomes and fully supports Finland's initiative to lead the Shelter Coalition for Ukraine, and we are ready to join it. In turn, Lithuania invites Finland to join our flagship initiative to build new schools across Ukraine. Finally, today we discussed EU issues, such as the Commission's proposal on the multi-annual financial framework. Lithuania welcomes the proposed significant increase in financing for military mobility, as well as provisions for safeguarding the EU's eastern border. Our position is that defense investments must be at the forefront of EU priorities, and EU financing should reflect the real needs of European security. On all these issues, I am happy to note that our countries agree more often than not. The strong friendship and partnership we enjoy make us stronger, more resilient and prosperous. And I'm certainly expecting President Stubb to visit Lithuania in the near future. Thank you.
Thanks, and that reminds me, I forgot to mention one thing, and that is that I've received an invitation to do a state visit in Lithuania, and I really look forward to that together with Susanne. So thank you very much for a kind invitation. Let's make it happen, latest 2026. Thank you.
First question goes to Finnish broadcasting company Teemu Juhola.
Yes, thank you. Mr. President Nausėda, what kind of role will Lithuania have in the future security guarantees for Ukraine?
I think we should talk about the security guarantees of concrete individual countries and security guarantees of coalitions or collective security guarantees. As individual member of international society, Lithuania is one of the staunchest supporters of Ukraine, not only militarily, but also politically. This means that, according to our agreement with Kiev, we agreed to spend at least 0.25% of our GDP as a support to Ukraine. But actually, if I look backwards, de facto we invest even more, up to 0.3% of our GDP. We are a very strong supporter of Ukraine's European Union membership track. And this is the reason why we are arguing and inviting our colleagues in European Council to take the decision on opening the first cluster of the negotiations and opening the remaining clusters or fundamental clusters in 2025. I think this is very important to couple the membership track of both countries, Moldova and Ukraine, because decoupling of these two countries would mean catastrophic consequences on the opinion of Ukrainian society. And of course, we are participating in the coalition of willing. Lithuania is ready to provide necessary military capabilities to, in case a peace agreement is reached. I think what is also critically important, the participation of our largest ally, United States. And this is very important that backstop of United States is provided. And I think together with our European partners, we can guarantee the peace in case of positive outcome of peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russian Federation.
As far as Finland is concerned, we have a holistic approach on the security arrangements. And it, of course, starts with Ukraine itself. It has one of the most modern and strongest and experienced armies, not only in Europe, but in the world, with roughly 800,000 soldiers. After that, it's important that Europe supports Ukraine in many different ways, political, financial, and military. And finally, just like the President of Lithuania said, we need to coordinate the security arrangements with the United States, which essentially will provide the backstop for this. This is what we're focusing on right now. We're focusing on these issues with our chiefs of defense, which are drawing the concrete plans of what this type of an operation might look like, and I stress, post-peace agreement. And then we're also discussing this on a political level, for instance, on Thursday. So we're making progress on this, and hopefully we'll get a solution soon.
Neil Simojoki, Finnish News Agency.
Question for both presidents. This week we have been witnessing a summit of leaders in China, which could be called the coalition of anti-Western countries by some. Are you worried about this coalition finding each other's and strengthening their policy towards the West? And about the meetings in Europe, NBA and Paris, are we to expect some concrete results when it comes to security guarantees, for example?
Please.
You go ahead.
Okay, no problem. You know, it's very important to understand that Russia's behavior is based on the assumption that they don't want any peace. And the peace could be achieved only through strength, through very strong measures the international society should apply, and first of all, United States, Europe, and other like-minded countries. And this meeting in China, of course, means that the countries which are on the other side of democracy will use every opportunity to prolong this war and to try to avoid the peaceful negotiations. I think this is very important to understand that this backing for Russian Federation means that probably it will be even more complicated to find the solutions between the United States and Russia and Ukraine. But nevertheless, we must try to do our best in order to get the peace, but not at any cost, because the cost of Ukrainian territorial integrity, the cost of independence is too high, first of all for Ukrainian people. So this means that we have to be tough, we have to be consistent, and we have to be united. Solidarity means a lot, especially if we are talking about, for example, European Union integration of Ukraine. You know that there are still 1 or 2 members in the club who are against, and we have to find the ways to proceed, the ways to go forward, because otherwise it would mean negative implications on the security situation of the whole region of Europe.
On the 2 questions posed, the first is very directly linked, I think, to the ongoing competition for a new world order. We've seen that the post-Cold War era is over. I actually think that the tipping point was the beginning of Russia's war of aggression, full scale, on the 24th of February 2022. And this has led to a jostling of power, at the same time a weakening of multilateral institutions, rules and norms. And the narrative put forward from countries in the global east, namely China and Russia, is that multipolarity will provide a solution for a peaceful coexistence and global cooperation. I disagree with this approach. I think multilateralism is the best way to drive cooperation forward. What we saw with the Shanghai Cooperation Group is what we have been seeing in the sidelines for a longer time. There's an attempt to undermine the unity of the global West. And my message, not only to my European colleagues, but especially to the United States, is that if we don't drive a more cooperative or dignified foreign policy with especially the global South, the likes of India, we're going to lose this game. So I think this meeting in China on Sunday and Monday is a good reminder to all of us in the global West what is at stake. We're trying to preserve the remnants of the old order, and that's what it's all about.
Otto Rantanen, Ilta-Sanomat.
Thank you. A question for Mr. President Stubb. Are the negotiations between Zelensky, Trump and Putin off the table, or is there still a chance that they will happen, and how?
I spoke to President Zelensky a couple of times last week, and if I recall correctly, I spoke with President Trump on Saturday as the deadline for the bilateral agreement was approaching, which was yesterday. A trilateral meeting right now seems highly unlikely, and it looks to me that Russia is doing everything in its power to avoid a bilateral meeting with President Zelensky and President Putin. So therefore, I think right now the wise thing for us to do is to focus on the security arrangements and obviously continue our dialogue and engagement with the President of the United States, who is very much in the driver's seat. He is working towards peace, but as we can all see, President Putin is testing everyone's patience, not only over the weekend, but in general. And right now, I am not very optimistic that we will achieve a ceasefire or a framework for the peace negotiations in the near future. And there's only one reason for that, and that is Russia and President Putin.
And last question to Niilo Simojoki, Finnish News Agency.
Hopefully not totally surprisingly, a domestic question for President Stubb. Finnish government has been embroiled in discussion about immigration and how to speak about it. What do you think about the situation, and in your view, have the limits of decency or racism been crossed in these comments by Mr. Keskisarja, for example?
I pride myself in the fact that Finland is a modern, open and tolerant society. Our success has been based on equality, justice and the protection of minorities, including human beings who have moved to Finland at a later stage in their lives. As President of the Republic, I will always defend human rights, fundamental rights, and the treatment of each and every individual with dignity and respect. Racism has no place in Finnish society.
Thank you for the participation. Press conference has ended.
Thank you. Let me see, these are new, hold on. Very impressive. It's the first time I see the new podiums, no? They're quite